Yeah, we always mention pretty much on this because we have a big audience when it comes to Bitcoin now that we have a Curzio Equity Owners token. Again, lots of stuff happening behind the scenes there. Can't wait to announce a lot of stuff to you. But it broke 50,000 again. And I think that's a really, really big deal. I want to hear your thoughts because this is something that went to 66, even the first one, went close to 20,000, went all the way down to 5,000, 4,000, around whatever it was. And then we saw another one went up to 66,000. And then crash, right, to 29,000, I think was the low. And now you're back up to 50,000. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin right now? Because, I'll give you my thoughts after, but I think going to 50 it's a very, very big deal.
Yeah, I think it's a good emotional level. Investors like round numbers. You always see headlines about the Dow at 20,000 or 30,000 and all that kind of stuff. So no doubt, no argument that Bitcoin taking 50 after being 30 and 29, I think. It dipped under 30 a few months ago. You get all your naysayers. This is just the new normal. And I think that's really powerful. And just like what we were trying to explain to listeners about the lessons you can learn from Dix and data and looking at earnings and stuff like that, I think you have to pay attention to this new normal. Can Bitcoin go back to 20,000 or even under? Sure, it can. Anything can happen. But boy, the odds are getting a lot more in the favor of the new lows are going to be previous highs, like the 20s and all that kind of stuff. And you have continued people. So we talked about this last week real quick. Galaxy Digital reported, was talking about how institutions and big players are starting to come in. That's a new normal versus just retail. Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy, who is either loved or hated. No offense on that guy. They announced they bought another 3,907 Bitcoins. That brings the total to 108,992. Their average cost basis is 26,769, Frank. So when it's volatile and it's on the downside, everybody points to him and says how he's leveraging his company and it's silly. Now he's a genius because he's increasing his investment on his balance sheet. The big takeaway is you're going to see more of this.
Did you say 108,000 Bitcoin they own?
992 for 2.918 billion at an average price at 26,000. He tweeted that yesterday.
So how many coins do they own total though right now? Would you say
108,992?
108,000.
992 should be under 3 billion, just under 3 billion.
No, that's more like 5.4 billion at 50,000 at the current price. So he's talking about the average price they have it. But right now, if you're looking at that 108,000.
Yeah, because their average is 26.
5.4 billion. Wow, that's incredible. That is
crazy.
Incredible. And
but it's going to change by the time we publish this, it'll be up or down 10%.
But here's the deal. Here's the bigger point here. He's not selling anytime soon.
Right.
And when you look at that and you look at the hodlers, right? And hold on for dear life. You see that from a lot of Bitcoin. I don't know if they always do that. They say they do. I think, some of them do. And when I see something like this happen, where you go to 20,000 and then go all the way down to 4,000, 3,000, right? You see that, 2018, 19. And you're still able to hold on. You're going to have some of the people sell and whatever and say, okay. And then all of a sudden you have this massive move to 66,000 and then it comes down again. And I'm sure people, if you're normal and if you're human, you're looking at it and it's a big difference because if you own Bitcoin, you're looking at maybe a portfolio of 5 million and then all of a sudden it goes down to 2 million. That's a really big deal in like a 3-month period. I don't care who the hell you are and say, oh, you're going to look at it and be like, holy shit, man, that was 5 million not long ago and it's 2 million. No, it's normal. If you're still holding on after this and it comes back to 50,000, you're going to be holding on. You're going to create more hodlers, right? You're just going to do it. You're going to, because even the people that sold it kind of like, shit, I shouldn't have sold it. It's going back up. And the people that held it, if they held it through that, they're holding it fucking forever. What does that mean? Right now, you're talking about a $2 trillion market. Every institution is getting in. Citi just announced that they're looking to trade, CME futures on Bitcoin. They have no choice. It doesn't matter if they like it, if they believe in it. Their clients want it, and it's a $2 trillion liquid market that they're going to be left on the sidelines. Instead, now they could throw algorithms all over it and make their fees just like Goldman Sachs does and Morgan Stanley's going to do. That's why JP Morgan's getting in, even though Jamie Dimon said, listen, I don't give a shit about Bitcoin, and it's a fake, all this bullshit, but he's like, but my clients want it. It's a $2 trillion liquid market. It's not going away. It's going to get bigger. And you brought up a story with, the Missouri governor, right? Not a governor. I think it might have been a mayor or something.
There's a mayor. But real quick, the other allocation thing. So Coinbase made a big deal because they announced previously that they're investing $500 million in a diversified crypto assets, a diversified portfolio. And then they're pledging about 10% of quarterly net income to also be invested. My whole point to that is, the more money you see on a consistent basis, this dollar cost averaging type buying, this steady buying over time by these massive players, that's only going, I don't know, but the odds are that that's going to only grow and continue to happen, which means the entire space is going to continue to be a lot higher in price. So that tells you, the individual investor, just make sure you have exposure to this. Like, yes, it's volatile. Yes, it's crazy, but you should have some exposure even through direct crypto holdings and or stocks that, give you exposure like MicroStrategy. We've talked about Galaxy Digital, et cetera, et cetera. But just the individual guys sitting on the sidelines, do not sit on the sidelines anymore. Done preaching, Frank.
Even like you say in the Missouri, right? The mayor of Missouri.
Yeah. So this is funny because the mayor of Missouri, I don't know which town, but I think there was 1,000 or 1,500 residents, and he wanted to give up to $1,000 in Bitcoin to all of the residents there. He said he had some backers, some donors that were going to cover the cost. I forget what it was, right? That's a couple $1,000,000 at the most, depending on what they actually decide to give out and things. But we were joking earlier about the office because, leave it to the government where you kind of screw up, take Bitcoin, store of value, independence, diversification from fiat government control, independence, responsibility. And then, of course, the government's going to muck it up and give it away for free and try to just, do whatever they do with everything else. However, he was talking about doing it over a vested time. So you talk about being bullish and a politician kind of hinting, hey, if this is the future, let's get in front of this. Give all your residents as Bitcoin. Of course, that makes you popular on the voting side. You make them hold it for about 5 years. And again, there's a lot of gray area here because this could never happen. This was just I believe I grabbed one from Cointelegraph, Frank, if you're looking for a site or a news article over there. But it was interesting because he said, hey, it would be terrible for citizens to receive $1,000 in Bitcoin, pay off a car note or something, only to see the price of Bitcoin go to like 500,000 in years and then be disappointed. That just caught my eye, and anything's possible. Again, that's more bullish for crypto. If you have governments start giving this stuff away or people trying to buy it to do that, that's only going to increase adoption, increase popularity. Again, I'm not a perma bull, but it's hard not to be bullish on a couple exciting sectors, including crypto right now.
And like you mentioned, if you're doing this isn't like giving dollars to people that you're constantly printing more money and destroying the value of it, right? So
right.
There's a limited supply. So now you have like the guys that I've interviewed on this podcast, Dan Helds. There's a lot of, and even, my network of people in the industry, there's a lot of them that just believe in Bitcoin. They don't like the shit coins. It's Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. They're never going to sell. You're looking at more adoption, and it's not just adoption by institutions. One of the most important places to be adopted is in the media, in social media, right? That's how you get these massive, massive, massive trends. And you look at Sacramento Kings accepting Bitcoin. Well, the first team, they've been doing it since 2014. You have the Oakland Athletics announced in March 2021. They're going to accept Bitcoin for season suites, which hold up to 6 people. You look at Dallas Mavericks, and based on it, you're looking at athletes. There's several athletes that's saying, hey, I want to get paid or a portion of this in Bitcoin. Once you do that and they have their Bitcoin, a lot of these people are holding it, right? So you're not having a lot of sellers. And the fact that every time this thing goes down, all those hodlers, a lot of those people continue to buy. And even the ones that sold it and said that they were hodlers, they're not. And now that they're regretting the fact that, wow, this thing is pushing to 50,000 again. But you're just seeing this worldwide adoption. There's tons of stories. Go read them. Go Afghanistan and Bitcoin of what happened there and how, think about it. There's lines around the banks. They're probably never going to get their money. A lot of those people with Taliban taking over. Again, I won't get into politics there, but you have to see how many people have spoke out and said, I know they can't touch my Bitcoin. And I have my Bitcoin, I establish accounts, and you're looking at this, especially with all the world problems, especially what we've seen at a grand scale of how politicians on both sides cannot be trusted at all. They don't give a shit about anybody except themselves across the world, not just here, but everywhere. This is the way to say, hey, you know what? F you, flipping off the government. You're not going to touch this. I'm going to own this. This is my money. This is my what? This is a cult. This is something that's not going away. You're not seeing people. You're not seeing Dan. You're not seeing management team saying, actually, you are. Let me take that back. I was saying you're not seeing athletes say, I'm buying gold. I want gold. But didn't we have someone come out and say that they bought gold bars?
Yeah.
Palantir, right?
I always butcher that. Yeah. Yep.
Palantir actually came out and said gold bars.
I think it was 50 million worth of gold bars.
That was amazing. But, when it comes to athletes, you're not really seeing that. But overall, Afghanistan and what's going on there is also good for gold. So you're looking at gold. I know gold has been shit. I know you thought it was going to go a lot higher under the current conditions. I think eventually will. I think it will. And when I say eventually, I'm not talking about 5 years from now. I think it's a great investment. I have a lot of money in gold. It's not my biggest position, but I also have a lot in Bitcoin and also cryptocurrencies. So, diversify, guys. Buy a little bit. Even, again, don't be afraid. Oh, it's 50,000. It was just 29,000. Again, I made the mistake with Dick's Sporting Goods. Buy a little bit here. If it comes down, you can buy a little bit more. But you should have allocation to this because you don't have a lot of people selling Bitcoin right now. You just don't hear it. And the fact that it keeps going higher almost on every dip, major dips, those 40 to 60% pullbacks, it's going to create even more fans. And, you're seeing it in the sports world. You're seeing it everywhere. I mean, it's adopted. It's here. It's not going away. It's $2 trillion plus market altogether. Bitcoin probably accounts for about 45% of that. And Ethereum is getting huge as well, especially with their new update. But, cryptocurrency is here. We're involved in it tremendously. We built our company in security tokens. That industry is absolutely taking off right now beyond belief. And, I'm really happy for the people that invested in our company through this security token. We get an equity stake. I'm happy of, a lot of the things that are coming up of how there's more adoption. We're getting tons of calls now. There's going to be more platforms trading security tokens. They're all coming out now and regulation's been eased. And it's took a little while, a little longer than expected, but being one of the first to the market here, it's very, very exciting times. But, cryptocurrency, guys, listen, we have a crypto intelligence newsletter, a little bit expensive. We have unbelievable returns in that. We've helped you tremendously. We got great contacts in it, but even if it's not the newsletter, if it's too expensive, try to learn as much as you can about this market. Follow guys like Dan Held. I mean, he's great. I love him. Again, I had him on a podcast. He has a pretty cool newsletter. It comes out once a month, and it's not expensive at all. Again, I don't make any money by saying that, but, just people that are really cool in this industry. There's a lot you could find through your Twitters, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your TikToks, or whatever, and start learning about it and, take a little piece of it because right now this trend, I think, is super, super, super early, and it's not going away. And I think, Daniel, not to speak for you, but I think you feel the same way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is a new normal, so make sure you have exposure. And until next week, that's a lot of fun.